Welcome to today's interview. I'm Mark Walters. I'm here with my longtime friend, Ted Thomas, who is the absolute authority. If you've been following us each day so far here with this interview series, Ted is the source. I'm absolutely honored that I can be sharing the screen with Ted right now. So thank you, Ted. And if you've been following along with this interview, you know that not only is Ted the authority where pretty much any type of tax lien certificate or tax deed property content that's out there online or in bookstores, those people learned it from Ted. So you're getting it from the absolute source. It's very rare that you can find that. I remember hearing about Ted, gosh, probably 3 or 4 decades ago when there were giant newspaper ads with Ted because, Ted was talking about this. So it is absolutely an honor to be able to share this. And as you know, on Saturday, Ted is doing his live event. And I highly recommend that you secure your spot. The timing is perfect, especially in this market. So Ted, after watching and listening to these videos, I have a few questions from my viewers. So let's jump right in. The first one is it possible to get started with only a few $1,000s?
Absolutely, you can start with a few $1,000s, but now let's keep in mind, if we're going to talk about investments, you're going to have to work at this. You are going to, if you're starting small with just a couple of $1,000s, yes, you can get started. But let's say we made 20% on $2,000. We only made you $400. So think about that. I tell people, go ahead and get started, get your education so you're on your way. But you need to ultimately start thinking about bringing in a little bit of money. This is an investment business. I teach it's an alternative investment. We can buy lots we have people buying for $200, $500, but it's a rare case. And I demonstrated on the first class that we did, a guy did buy a house for less than $500. And he's going to make thousands, but that's the exception. We need you to think about having a little bit more money than that. But tax lien certificates, you can buy all you want for $2,000, that's for sure.
Okay, great. Let's see, Ted, I really understand these tax lien certificates, and it really seems like anyone can do it. Is there any complications I need to know about?
It's going to be a super easy business. Tax lien certificates have been regulated by the local counties for 200 years. So once we teach you how to do it, we will also teach you to whatever county you go to read the rules and read the procedures for that county. So you could be in Maricopa County and go to Havasupai, a short distance away, or go up to Flagstaff or wherever, and the rules would be slightly different. So we're going to teach you the basics, and then we'll teach you what to do, because every county will have little special rules. So there's no complications in tax lien certificates. The business is such that they've made it so easy, anybody can really do it that's had just a little bit of experience. You'll have enough experience in this 1 6-hour class to be ready to do that, that's for sure.
Excellent. Okay, that's the one on Saturday, right? You're talking about? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's see. Ted, I'm an investor, and I think most of my clients want to be an investor, so they aren't going to want to do small deals. Is it possible that they could make $25,000 to $50,000 online?
You can make way more than $25,000 or $50,000. Our objective in teaching people is to teach them to make at least 25, but preferably 35, 55, and $100,000. Why? Because we basically subscribe to teaching you to do this part-time business, full-time income. We want you to be able to do 3 of these a year, 3 of these a year, and make 25 to 50 grand on each one of them. That's conceivable, it's possible, and we've got multiple case studies that we'll demonstrate on Saturday. If people come to class, we'll actually see a demonstration of that, and I'll show you some demonstration before we leave today of people making $20,000, and then we teach them how to bump it up by 10 to 15,000. People making $40,000 in a couple of months. Well, what if you did that 2 or 3 times a year? That's a nice part-time job. But yes, that's what we're not teaching people to make $5,000 and $10,000. Now I know there's people out there, excuse me, that are making $5,000, $7,000. Listen, one mistake at $5,000 and you're going to be in the hole. We're not going to teach you that. We're going to teach you to make 35 or 40, and if you made a little mistake, you bump you down to 25. That's fine. We want to make sure you're going to make money. We're not out here doing this as a hobby. This is a business that we teach people to make real money, and people stay at it. I've got people that have been with me for 25 of my 30 years of doing this.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Ted, the investment business is really filled with hype. I have clients that are grandmothers and grandfathers, working people, and they would love to make $50,000 in 1 year. Is that really realistic?
Okay, well, let me show you some real people. Okay, now these people are both seniors. Okay, they both had jobs. They still keep their jobs, but they came to class. We said, look, learn how to do this. Okay, so they live in Wisconsin. Okay, now we don't do a lot of business in Wisconsin because there's not a lot of tax deeds there because it's a very socialistic state. The state buys the property and they pay retail. So we're not in the retail business. We want to buy them for 10 cents on the dollar. So we taught the clients to buy right next door in Michigan. So they learned online how to do it. They learned that from our classes. They learned everything to do. All right. So these folks went to an auction, livable house, about $55,000. You'll see a picture of it. They bought the livable house, valued it by the tax collector at $55,000. They bought it for $8,000. Now, we don't teach people to fix property up. We teach them touch it up, clean it up, and then sell it. So they did just that. They went to the house, they touched it up, they cleaned it up, they put an ugly sign in the front of it, and they put it up on the market. Now, we teach people to sell property. Most people don't do that. So we're going to teach you to use Craigslist. We're going to Trulia, a multiple listing system. We're going to teach you to use every possible site to sell. We're going to show you exactly how to do it. Okay, they sold that property on Facebook Marketplace. Now, let me review. It was worth $55,000. They bought it for $8,000. They spent $4,000 more fixing it up. So now they're in at $12,000. It's worth $55,000. They sold it for $35,000. So they made themselves $20,000 profit. They did that during the Christmas week. And during the communication of buying it, the buyer said, can you give me an installment sale? Could I pay you over the years? And they called me and they said, Ted, we're going to sell this property on installments. I said, great. You're going to charge interest on the installments? They said, yes. Now, keep in mind, they already made the $20,000, which everybody's so worried about. They then financed the property. They get $400 a month for 10 years. That's $48,000. They started out at $8,000. We're already up to $48,000. They made over $35,000 in Christmas week. They're senior citizens. How much risk did they take? They had $8,000 invested, $4,000 fixing it up. They sold it, made a $20,000. They financed it. They already have a job. Now they get an extra $400 a month. What if they do that 3 times in the next year? Well, they did it 3 times in the next 90 days.
My name is Robert Hagan, but everybody calls me Sonny. And this is my wife, Marsha. In September of 2019, we took the Ted Thomas classes. In November, we won the Fraser Street house. December, we accepted an offer already. January, we closed on it. It's amazing about the signs. You know, we didn't even think anything about this sign stuff. And it was brought to our attention by Ted that, you know, this is a surefire way to get people's attention. And he's absolutely right.
The lawyer cost us $600 to do the closing and set up the land contract that we sold it on. So altogether, $11,557, almost $12,000. The purchase price turned out to be $35,000 with a profit of $23,443. Once we plugged all this in, it came up with that his payments would be $411. Total interest then, the interest made on all the money that was in here, just the interest, it amounts to $15,995.51. So that's just the interest, that's just profit. Basically, we hold the note on the property, we're the bank. It was $23,443 profit on the sale.
And $15,995 profit on the note.
So all of our investment, which of course we've already gotten back, and the profit on the property and the profit on the note. So the total for just the profit part, not our investment, but the total profit part is $39,438. And I think for that $12,000, that's a pretty good deal.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I love the installment aspect, the monthly payments, because then with the interest, it bumps up your profit so much. And in today's day and age where, like you said, we have doubled those interest rates, that's pushing a lot of buyers out, and having that opportunity is
They
amazing.
made $20,000 profit on the building, and they made 15,000 more. 15,000 more. So now they came up with $38,000 in profit on a $12,000 investment. 300% profit during the Christmas week. Everybody said, it's Christmas and it's snowing. You can't do any work then.
Oh, I love it. Definitely hit that link below. You've got to learn from Ted. That's why he is here right now. Oh my gosh, Ted, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Ted, show me the best deal you have ever seen. Oh boy, that's a good one.
Okay, this is the best deal I've ever seen. And I did show it in the last segment, and I'm going to show you again. So this guy was looking at a lakefront property. So we taught him how to go online, figure out what it's worth. Turns out it's worth about $40,000. So he went to the auction. He spent absolutely pennies at the auction buying the property. And then he resold it and made some more money. And so he was very happy with that. But I said, well, Bob, tell us about the best deal you ever did. So I'm going to show you. He'll tell you himself. I said, Bob, tell me the best deal you ever did. Here's what he said.
I'd have to say that the best dollar for dollar deal I've ever done on a piece of land, it happened in Oklahoma. I went out to an outlying county and I bought a tax lien. The tax lien was on a 25-acre piece of land. The tax lien was only $67.12. You'd think that nobody would ever abandon a piece of land for that small of a tax bill, but things like that do happen. And guess what? Those people never did pay that tax. They never redeemed that tax lien, and I ended up getting the tax deed to that property. I eventually sold that piece of land for $22,500. It's not uncommon to make $10,000 or $20,000 off of a deal.
Folks, that was from the horse's mouth. He said he bought that property for $67, just like I told you on the last video. $67. He sold it for $20,000. How many deals like that do you have to make? Now, I don't know if you're ever going to make one like that. Like on the first video, I never bought a house for $500. I never did. Okay, and I never bought one for 67, but I bought a whole bunch in between. So if you're interested in learning how to do this, you got to go down below here, get yourself registered. You're not going to see a lot of BS. You're going to see the real deal, and it's not all coming from Ted Thomas. We got a whole group of people that are they're going to not only entertain you, they're going to educate you. You can just sit on your rusty dusty and learn for a lousy $47. It's the best deal on the street.
Definitely. The time is, I think, really right for this. And I think if you're watching this and maybe you've watched some of the other videos, you're here for a reason. So take advantage of this. The price is right. The education will, the value is off the charts, and you're learning from the authority, which is very rare. Ted, thank you so much for all of these days and all of this time. I've learned so much, and I know everybody here has too. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you at the event.
All right, sounds good, guys. Hit that button below, secure your spot, take advantage of what we have here. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Until next time, I'm Mark Walters. This is Ted Thomas.